you proud of what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Definitely.
You did your bit, you did it right, you did it proper.
Yeah, you did your duty.
Yeah.
Because people, as Ken was saying to the class, people were more patriotic in those days. And,
You were proud to go out and do your duty for your country. Simple as that.
Did you have, did you have a choice when the war started to go and fight?
Yes.
I had a choice, but I volunteered for the. Mind you, as I say, I didn't know there was a war on in Korea, so I had a choice. But even though there was a war on, if I'd have known, I'd have still volunteered for it.
Yes, I volunteered as well. Put my age on here. And it was the thing. In fact, all the young fellas I knew wanted to get into the forces.
Yeah.
There were one or two who were looking for safe jobs, trade unionists. But yes, by and large, most people they were either keen to volunteer right away, or else they knew they were going to be called up, and so they just hung on until they were called up.
I mean, I was like him. He got in before he was 17, before he was 17 and a half, so did I. I mean, when I signed on, they give you a big, I don't know about him, they give me a big blue and pink form. And it was all filled in. You had to take it home and get your parents to sign it, and then take it back to say you was 17 and a half all over. But I didn't. I walked outside the recruiting office and signed them myself because I wasn't old enough. Took them back in, and that was it.
and I was called up. I was.
But you knew you were going to
Yeah, at 17 and a half, I got the call. You get calling up papers.
Yeah.
They've got a. Nowadays it'd be all on computer, but it's got a list and that you get. At 17 and a half, I got calling up papers, and you go down for a medical, and that's it. Get called up.
Dad, he's got like a big collection of World at War,
Yep.
like a DVD, and there's like 76 hours of it.
And he keeps watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it at home.
Because I've got one of them, but there was an episode I watched with him, and it actually made me cry because of what the Germans were doing to the Jewish people, and it was really upsetting watching
Well,
them.
the South Korean, North Koreans, when they was taking prisoners, did exactly the same as the Japanese did in the Second World
When
War.
it comes down to it, was you given respect, just a little bit of respect by the journalists, and did you give a little bit of respect and did you give a little respect back?
There's always been respect amongst the fighting troops, Yeah, I mean, we call him Jerry, they called us Tommy. Yeah, and it was,
I think with the
we
Japanese.
were enemies, but both Britain and Germany kept to the treaty. I forget what they.
Geneva Treaty.
The Geneva Treaty.
Sometimes.
Mainly on how you should treat prisoners, and fair enough, they did pretty well. You've only got to read about Colditz and places like that, and to see how the job. Mind you, if you tried to escape, you were liable to get shot, but that was all in the rules.
See, it was different with the Japanese. I don't think anyone liked them.
No, they were just evil.
They were just evil.
What made them evil?
Well, it's the way they treated the prisoners. And we after the war, we went to Japan and picked up some prisoners of war, and they were, I don't know what your weight is, but they were weighing 4 stone, 5 stone.
Yeah.
And they couldn't, you had to help them up the gangway, they couldn't walk up the gangway. They were treated so badly. And if you read about the Burma Railway, if you want to read something, read that, how they were treated.
They was made to work 12, 16 hours a day, and all they was given was a an handful of rice.
If they
A
got
load of them had berry, and if they had accidents, you know, if they cut themselves, there was left. And a lot of them had their legs removed. And if you disobeyed, you read the books or go and see it up at the Arboretum. If you disobeyed, they used to take you outside and just chop your head off with a saw.
make you bend down and chop your head off.
Mind you, you got to realise it was part of their way of looking at things.
Yeah.
It was
They wanted
part of their culture, if you like.
Yeah,
It was the way they were brought up.
they couldn't understand.
If you were captured, you were obviously you know got everything you deserved. By the way,
You were cowards.
You know,
If
yeah.
you got captured, you were cowards.
Yeah. Yes, the thing to do is
Because if you
to
captured
die.
the Japanese, they'd commit harikari, kill themselves, sooner than be taken for Japanese eyes. If you was caught, you was a coward. Because they said you should never have been caught, you should have shot yourself or...
They committed undue, terror and cruelty. It was awful, awful.
If you go up the have you been up the Arboretum?
No.
You should go up there. There's a hut there. It's for FIPO, the Japanese prisoners of war, families of Japanese prisoners of war. And there's televisions up there, and you can press the button and it's different soldiers telling their story. Now you listen to some of them stories and you come out crying. And they've got the music in there so it sounds just as though you're in the jungle.
Was, my mum and dad, near Christmas, they're going to Poland,
Yeah,
and
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz.
yeah, I think actually,
Yeah.
yeah, that is, and they want to look about World War. I didn't really ask much because, I don't know why I didn't, but what was Poland to do with the war?
Well, that's
the reason why we went to war.
Was
Because we had
Poland.
a treaty with Poland that if they were attacked by Germany, we'd come to their aid. And that's how we got into the war. The French had a similar treaty with them. And so the Germans attacked Poland, marched in, and so we automatically went to their aid. And that was how war was declared.
Was it the same with them with us? If we,
No, no.
No, it was a treaty with us and Poland.
Oh, that's all.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
And they said that if they get attacked, we would come to their aid. But they did. Germans attacked Poland, so the British went into Poland.
And then Germans treated them.
And then, because it escalated, then it was the Americans came in, Canadians, everyone, you know.
And the Germans treated the Poles awful, absolutely awful.
If you didn't have a choice and you were going to go do it, would you say that I would just do it anyway instead of volunteering? Would you, and they just chose you, would you do it or
Yeah. Yeah.
and
No problem.
do you
Yeah.
regret anything what you did?
No.
No, I don't.
No,
No regrets. In fact, I think joining the army makes you a man. It makes you proud of what you did.
I certainly don't regret because I survived. But I travelled all around the world. All around the world where I would never ever... I mean, you think of Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Philippines, all around the Pacific, and the government paying me 7 shillings a week to do it. And if you survive, and you come out all in one piece, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh, you got a few scrapes now and then, but I got through it. And I enjoyed it. I know a lot of times when I was sitting in the North Sea and it was rough and I wasn't feeling too well and sick and you could hear depth charges going off and you think, oh God. But you got over it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I enjoyed the war, but
No.
but you were all mates together, and
Yeah.
that made all the difference.